if you haven't worked from a chart before, you might want to give it a try. A lot of people like this way of following their stitches because it gives them sort of a picture of what they're knitting. So this particular chart is for the Traveling Vines lace stitch, and this is what it looks like in your knitting. So you can see that there is eyelets that are moving across, and you can also see there's decreases that are winding their way through. So this particular chart is written particularly if you're going in the round. So you can see that all the numbers for each round are on the right hand side. If this were a chart particularly for going back and forth, so you know, right side and the wrong side, you'll see that they'll put 1 over here and then 2 over there and 3 and 4. The chart would be the same, but it just helps you decide which direction you're going. But when you're in the round, you've always got the right side or the outside, the public side facing you. So you start every round from the right hand side. You've got a key over here to tell you what the different stitches are, but a lot of times, well, and especially in this, it's pretty easy to decipher the symbols. So the grayed out, you just want to ignore. It says no stitch. You just ignore that. It's a little confusing when you first start, but you get used to it. So in round 1, you start with a yarn over, then you're going to knit through the back loop, you're going to yarn over, you're going to do an SSK, and then you're going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes what people do is when they have a long string of knit stitches, in the first one they might go through and they might just write a 5 in there so that they know that they've got 5 knit stitches. Up here they would have 4. In this particular group chart, there's not that long a stretch, but if that helps you, you can add that on there. So the other thing to note is that an SSK is a decrease that leans left naturally, and knit 2 together leans right. So the left leaning decrease is your SSK, and then these are all knit 2 togethers up here. So you would repeat that. That's an 8-stitch repeat, so that you would repeat that over and over and over in the round. I would also recommend that you put a stitch marker here and a stitch marker there, so that you know when you come to the end that you're still on track and that you haven't messed up anywhere. If you get to the end and you're supposed to knit 5 and you only have 4 stitches, you know there's a problem. So you can go back and correct it right away. So in the next round, you would knit 3, ignore that. So you'd knit 3, do SSK. This is not a stitch you're ignoring it on the chart. So it's knit 3 and then SSK with the next 2 stitches, and then you would knit 4. Over and over again. The next one, you would do a yarn over, knit through the back loop, yarn over, knit 2, SSK, knit 3, and so on. So you just follow the chart the way it is. This is a 12-row repeat. So when you finish the 12th row, you would go back to the beginning and start it all over. One thing that people use to keep track, sometimes you'll put a post-it. This is a card, but if I had a post-it, you could put a post-it on top, so you're just looking at the row that you're working on and move it up. I like this. Sometimes people put a post-it below and work up, but I like this because you can see what's actually on your needles, because you've done those rows, so you can see them below. So I would go this way. There's also highlighter tape that people use that you can just put on, and it comes off really easily, so you can move that up. So those are my tips for working with a chart.